For the second exercise in this chapter on repetition, we're going to use a for-in loop to help count the vowels in a sentence. And that's also going to involve some other little tricks, if you will. So let's get started. We'll call this program cvowels.rb. So we start off with a little prompt. Then we get the sentence from the user. Then we chomp the pesky new line character to get that out. Now here's our first little trick. What we want to do is we want to convert a sentence into an array of characters so that we can easily work with the characters. We could work through the string using string indexing, but I kind of like working with arrays better. I feel like it's a little more efficient. So here's how we're going to do that. Letters is going to be an array, and we're going to use the split method and the double slash to represent split on each character. So rather than enter a delimiter for split like you normally do, the delimiter is going to be a character, which is the double slash. Then we're going to create a variable to store our vowel count. Now here's where the for loop comes in. We're going to pull out each letter out of our letters array. Then we're going to have a case statement. And when the letter is an A or an E or an I or an O or a U, then we're going to increment vowel count by 1. This is an interesting little variation on the when clause or the when statement to make it a little more concise rather than drop down and put our increment statement on the next line. We can do it just like this. Makes our code just a little more concise. Then we're finished. And we can display the vowel count. So let's save the program. Let's try it with a simple sentence. Hello world has 3 vowels, the E, the O in hello, and the O in world. Now let's try it on a hard one. Let's count the vowels first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there's our 12. Let's look at our code again. Now, I'm not saying this is the definitive way to count vowels. There's ways using regular expressions that are easier than this, but that's a bit advanced for where we are right now. But this is a nice demonstration of using the for loop, which is a very important looping type in all programming languages. And it also demonstrates how we don't have to use any sort of indexing with the for-in loop because the for-in loop has a built-in iterator to handle all of that housekeeping or paperwork for us by keeping track of where we are in a string. But we're not even trying to do that. So it's just keeping track of which element we are in the array, which is much easier using for-in than trying to use array indexing and running the risk of going out of bounds with the array. So that's how we can use the for loop to count vowels in a sentence, and that wraps up this exercise and it wraps up this chapter on repetition.